quick little check-in. It was a great weekend, and today I had to go pick up my frame print from the gallery I did earlier, group gallery. It didn't sell, so if anyone wants the print, I think I had it for like 100, 200, 300, I don't remember. So I picked that up, so I was in Brooklyn for the day, and then came back and went to editing the engagement photos, so those are sent out. Did some other tasks. And now I'm reading Killers of the Flower Moon, halfway done. And I'm just like in shock. I shouldn't be in shock, but like, just, yeah, in shock. How terrible this country is. And I think I'm done for the day after this. I'm just finishing my dinner. That's what I'm doing while I'm eating. I could edit the Run Club photos, but I'm so tired. And tomorrow's gonna be a long day of being like outside. Not long, but like a couple hours outside, so I wanna wake up early to get some stuff done in the morning half of the day. Then do the daytime meetups, and then get some groceries. Because I've been eating the same mix of food, which is like the last 3 things in my fridge. I need actual real food, so yeah. It was the day. I didn't edit OverExposed yet. I was like busy with the other photos. So we're gonna do that tomorrow or Wednesday. But that was my day. Tired. Period started. So I'm like cranky and like feeling like, oh, everything sucks. But then it's like, no, that's not actually you thinking that. That's your body. So, just tired and moody. But such is life. What did we learn during the last period cycle? I think I was on the sofa last time I reported. Which time is ridiculous. Because I was like, didn't I just have my period? Didn't I just pay rent? Didn't I just go grocery shopping? Didn't I just meal prep? Like, dude, things are flying so fast. The quarter's almost over. I'm behind on my list of things to do. So, like, each day it's just like at least one thing minimum rolls over to the next day. So, I've had a lot of things roll over. So, and then there's an opportunity that's come up to be like busy for the rest of this week. So, it is now truly imperative to be waking up early in the morning so that I can squeeze some stuff in, some tasks in as they happen. So anyway, I'm gonna finish eating and then I'm gonna go to bed. And I'm not gonna read because we know what happens when I read in bed. Stay up till 1. But I will check in tomorrow with y'all. Hey, honestly, the last thing I want to do is be giving an update video, but I didn't do one yesterday, and I owe it to my future self to be disciplined in every way that I can be, even though right now the last thing I want to do is this because I'm in a shitty mood. I was in a decent mood, and then just personal stuff, and now I'm overwhelmed and I want to cry, which I'm going to do after recording. Nice little cry sesh. I haven't had a nice cry session in a little bit. I was jokingly texting my friend earlier that I'm due for a crash out, and I think we're approaching crash out stage. Not even about like the photo business shit, just like crash out for the sake of crash out, you know? You know when you just have a bunch of feelings that you can't name and explain? It's like when you're a toddler and you don't have the verbiage for it, which is why they scream. That's how maybe I should look at that feelings wheel. I'll look at that feelings wheel. Put a name to it. But just some quick updates. What did I do yesterday? What's today? Wednesday, Tuesday. I don't remember. I'm just gonna rattle off things. I sold some gear. Sold 4 of the 6 things, which was nice. I sent off the engagement photos and the Run Club photos. Got great feedback from both. Nice. I got approved for healthcare. Doesn't kick in until May though, so knock on wood, nothing happens until May. But that's a huge win. There's something else that happened. Oh, I made a return. So a lot of money coming in the form of returns, tax returns, and selling gear. So, yeah. And then I've basically done all the gigs for this month. I have one tomorrow, and that's the last gig of the month. And it's just waiting to get paid for everything, and that'll get me to rent. So first month making rent. And then I have the next few ones covered thanks to the tax return. So I have a little bit of buffer. And I have a buffer thanks to the tax returns. So I have a couple months buffer with everything. So that's nice. Yeah. I'm just not in a good mood, but I'm just like backed up on things because the editing took a while longer. Well, I didn't do what I was supposed to do on one of the days. And everything got pushed. So tomorrow, hopefully we'll get back on track. I think I'm gonna drop the 5 a.m. goal. Best I've been able to do is 7 or 8 a.m. at the desk by 9. I was like, maybe I just need to stay up late. But it hit 11, and then it was just not a great place to be mentally, at least today. And I was tired anyway. So, yeah, I'm just not at my most disciplined right now. I'm just, whatever. Yeah, so, good stuff, good progress on things. Photos being edited and done are weight lifted, and then we have another one tomorrow. But that'll be hopefully quick edits, because it's just a 30-minute session. And then, I got to have lunch with my old colleagues yesterday. That was nice. I watched Rush Hour 2 as well. Like Rush Hour. Not Rush Hour 2, but the first one. That was nice. Yeah, I'm just in a shitty mood right now. And it's probably part hormonal. I'm just part like overwhelmed and just like personal life stuff and everything. Oh, I also picked up the curriculum books. But I still have all the photo books to still get through. I just feel like my time, I don't know what's going on. Last week was going really well with that time management stuff. This week, it was just the Run Club editing photos took way longer because I was trying to mess with them and pull them into Photoshop and retouching them and stuff, so that took longer than I anticipated. So everything got pushed. So everything kind of became null and void. And then like coffee chats and like going in and out of the apartment, and I'm just learning that I just don't do well with like having to midday have some type of appointment that's out of my apartment. So I think in the future I'm gonna just try and schedule things like in the daytime, the morning, when you can just get up and go, versus like getting up and settling just enough, and then you're like, oh, I was getting into the flow, but now I gotta get up and leave to do this thing. I also really want to cut down coffee chats and virtual calls because it's just taking up a lot of time. Virtual calls at least is okay because it's at home, but the physical meeting up stuff, it's getting very overwhelming. So I went grocery shopping today as well after a coffee chat. And managed to spend $65 for a month of grocery, if I stretch it well. Anyway. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, we are in a much better mood today. Yesterday was just a lot, as life becomes sometimes. But today, started my day, had a gig, a quick little gig. Shout out to all my friends who are putting me on to their companies and like bringing me in and sending me gigs. This particular friend, this was our second time working together in this capacity specifically for his company. So that was really nice. He sent me home with lunch, some sushi. I was craving sushi too. And some snacks and stuff. I was like, that's so sweet. So I came back, turned around those photos, sent them off. The Run Club photos I sent off as well. They're done. I think I mentioned that yesterday. I don't remember. Edited Overexposed for last week's episode 11. So that is literally exporting right now. And I'm going to type up a blog post. I decided to switch which blog post I was going to work on. The other one that I was working on has been intimidating in subject matter and topic, and it's one that I just need to be in a good contemplative headspace for. And I just haven't been there in the past 2 weeks, so I keep putting it off. But I was like, wait, what if I switch it to a different topic? What's something else that I can write about that can be like quick and easy that I can put out? And I figured I'd do a little FAQ, because the number one question, I get the same questions over and over again. Why'd you quit? What was the breaking point? What are you working on now? What are you excited about? Yada, yada. So I was like, what if I just made an FAQ of what I'm doing? Also, I'm reading Jose Andres' book, Change the Recipe, I think. And I was on the train, and there was one thing where he was like, you have to be loud about what you want because the universe won't know, something like that, right? So I was like, this could be beneficial for me, because a lot of friends are sending me like gigs or different opportunities or videos on advice, but they're like about things that I'm not doing. Like one friend sending me stuff about wedding photography and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I'm like, I guess I haven't told anyone besides who I speak to in person what I'm interested in, what I'm working on, or if you're watching this. So I figured this should just be a helpful thing, and then I'll use it maybe as like my LinkedIn post, first LinkedIn post of the year. And just kind of update people and like have some asks and like whatever, so that I can be put on the correct, radar of people. I always end to burp when I watch these. Also, I'm like, I have food in my lap too. I need to stop recording when I have food staring at me, but maybe it's an incentive to talk faster. So I'm going to work on that now. Once it's just exporting, and then I'm going to upload it. And while it's being uploaded, then I'm going to type up. But the reason I came this way, I was over there, the radiator started to work. And I was like, of course, right when I decide to make a video, it starts hissing. So I'm here, so it's not as loud. So that's what I'm going to work on for the evening. It's already 8 p.m.-ish, I think, almost 9. I'm not feeling tired yet, which is why I feel like I can crank out this blog post and at least publish it. The Run Club photos went out today on IG, getting great feedback from it. So my story's kind of packed. So I'm going to promo the blog and the YouTube video tomorrow. The marketing, social media mind, just like trying to like think of all the moving parts of stuff. I was like, I also like post about this on TikTok. So like I posted like a little snippet of the video being like POV. There's just so many things to think through, and I just need to be better about like the social and the marketing part of things. I think I'm good at it, but I need to allocate the time much better and be smarter and strategic about stuff. So yeah, that's something to think about, but that's all I'm going to do for today. Tomorrow has unexpectedly turned into an adventure. My old boss from a job I had, my work study in college, is in town for a yearly conference. So I'm going to go see her very briefly tomorrow. And then I'm having a lunch with my boyfriend. And then I didn't think I could make it to a friend's birthday because I originally had like a community study that I was going to be part of, but it got scheduled to a day that I can't do any longer. So I'm going to go out to my friend's birthday for a little bit and say hello. So it's unexpectedly turned into more of a busier day, like outside day. On the top, let's my boyfriend. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know if I've talked about this. This is my first romantic relationship. I'm 27 years old. First one. And I cannot stress. And I know when I was in singledom. Okay, once again, let me pause because I just want to this is some yellow rice left over with some tuna. Because I was too lazy to cook the turkey. Like turkey and rice would make more sense than tuna and rice. Actually, tuna and rice makes a lot of sense. But the way that, and it doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, I know what I'm about to say. I remember when I was single, I hated hearing this shit. But genuinely, I'm so glad that nothing ever worked out in the past. Like, I'm so glad. And I'm so grateful. And it was one of those situations. I was literally doing a no dating year last year. And 10 months in, I broke it. Not broke it. I ended it. Because the reason why I had my no dating year, the mission beyond it was fulfilled when my boyfriend came into my life in the capacity that he did. We were friends for a year prior. And then both made a move at the same day. Same time, same day. And I just think about all the other times that I was so sad about other prospects, and I'm so glad. I would be miserable if I was with any of those people for 100%. And I just feel so much joy and happiness and calmness and contentedness and contentment. And the one thing I remember watching a video on, it was actually Monet McMichael. It was in the beginning when she was hinting at dating. I can't remember his name right now, but dating her current boyfriend. And because I used to watch her YouTube videos, she was like the only person I actually watched the YouTube videos on. And there was one thing she said where she was like, if someone wants to enter my life, they have to add to it. And that really, I've heard that before, but it really resonated with me at that time when I heard it. And I was like, absolutely. Like, my life is so full. It really, really is. Great relationship with my family, great friends. I live in New York City in an apartment. Like, I'm here doing photography. Like, if you want to be in my life, you really have to add to it. And anytime there's any taking away of it in the form of stress or miscommunication, whatever, I'm out. And I was so firm on that and told him from the get-go, and he has only ever added he was only added to my life in so many ways. And just deep alignment and just truly, like, it was frustratingly one of those things where it's like when I wasn't looking is when I found it. And again, I hated hearing these things. I still hate it too when people say it. I'm like, ew, shut up. But that was what happened to me. So it's just, I just really think, like, focusing on refocusing the no dating year was the best thing that I could have done. I guess it was no dating 10 months. Because it truly, like, you don't even realize how much brain space, or I guess I can only speak for myself. I didn't even realize how much brain space was occupying my head, was being taken up by, oh my gosh, is this potentially the one? Like, any conversation, any glance on a train or at an event, any conversation, any like on a story, I would be like automatically assuming or thinking, what if this is the person? What if this is the beginning of our meet cute? And when I was in that no dating year, like, I genuinely, like, that part was turned off. So I wasn't even looking at men like romantic things anymore. It was just like, you are just a person. And that was it seems so small, but it really changed everything. And anytime I had the urge, I realized pretty quickly back when I was on the apps, like, anytime I was feeling a hole, I would pull out my phone or like text somebody or start swiping. And so that year was like reorienting to whenever I felt that way, like, what is it that I'm really trying to fill? Do I just need to have a good conversation with my friend? Do I need to go on a walk? Do I need to call my mom? Do I need to, like, get creative? Like, what is it? And every single time, 100% of the time, I got that, like, fulfilled. And there's nothing, actually, I would say 99% of the time, because sometimes it was like, yeah, I want love, and I don't want to feel ashamed for wanting that. I think so much of, like, the baddie is like, oh, she doesn't want it. Like, no, I wanted it, and I wanted that partnership, and being in it, like, yeah, I want this. But it was learning how to really be with myself, and also just completely put all that energy that I would invest in going on dates and being on the apps and thinking about it, like, putting that into my friends and really growing my friends and community last year. And that, like I said, my current boyfriend, like, we were friends first. We were in the same circles. And so it was just like a natural, organic thing that happened as you are more around people who are aligned with the things that you like to do, because you are spending that time investing in community events, in going and showing up for people, in doing the things that you love and showing up as yourself. And we naturally attracted each other. And it's been great ever since. So, like, I don't want to, like, one thing I'm very, very cognizant of as someone who's on social, and I've been on it, and I've had different waves of being on different spaces, I'm going to keep that private to myself, like, details and stuff. But I have so many conversations with, especially, like, women in my life, and this is, and I was going to say, no, it's not even just, like, heterosexual, like, every person engaged in any type of relationship, people in my life, and or even just like parasocially or whatever, spending so much time and energy on that, which if that's what you desire, that's what you desire. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed for wanting love or whatever you're looking for. And I just like, I don't know, sorry, this is what I was actually trying to say. I've seen people settle. That's what it is. I'm seeing people settle in the situations stuff. I've been in it. I get it. I know what's happening in the brain and in the heart and everywhere. Like, I'm so glad I didn't settle. And I almost did, y'all. I almost did. And I was already miserable in it. And I would have only been more miserable and deeply misaligned with myself. But it was just the first person who treated me semi-decently. And I'm so glad that I was able to, like, call myself back to myself and get out of that, because it saved me for this. And I mean, I don't know, babe, if you watch this, but I'm hoping it's forever. Like, that's my man. Like, that's my husband. It'd be really, I mean, it's not embarrassing if he watches this, but it'd be, I'm gonna tell you before this episode goes, I will tell you this, babe. But instead of the world first. And I'm like, yeah, that's my husband. Like, I do not settle. That's the biggest thing I just wanted to say. And that's what I try to emphasize with my friends when this comes up, is like, do not settle. Like, don't settle. Someone who's in alignment with you will come to you. And I know, especially as we get older, as women, like, I was getting older and I was like, damn, 27 years, no one wants to be with me? Like, what? I think I'm the shit. Like, and again, I just look back at all the doors that closed. And what is it they say? Like, rejection is redirection. Amen. Yes. Do not settle. Have the high standards, because someone will meet them. Don't ever think that you are too much for somebody. We were in Atlanta, and we were at a poetry reading, and the host said something. I literally wrote it down, where she said, you will never be too much for someone who prayed for you. You will never be too much for somebody who prayed for exactly what you are and who you are. Don't ever let yourself think that you're too much, that you're not lovable, that you're this and this and this. Like, I think we equate so much weight to romantic love, and like, focus on the love for yourself and the love and relationship with your family or your chosen family and your friends and with the world, and like, that will come. Like, that is important, especially if you're thinking about long-term partnership and kids, if that's something you're thinking about, or even not. Like, this is someone you get to choose to be in your life for an extended period of time. It is a very, very important thing. I would say it's equally as important as like friends and yourself, because you are who you're going to be with for the rest of your life. If that isn't fulfilled, like, the relationship romantically it's not going to work. And I just see so many different situations that my friends are in, and you can only just be there for somebody, like, because I've been on the other side, so I know when someone lectures you and having this conversation, like, you're like, whatever, girl, like, shut up, you don't get it. But I wish I could go back and talk to myself and be like, girl, like, I don't ever regret anything. Everything is a learning opportunity, and it's just wisdom. So I will never be like, damn, I wish I didn't do that, or I wish I didn't date that guy, or I wish I didn't waste that many months with that person, because I learned a lot from it. I just wish I could tell myself to, like, not be as sad and to not place as much weight. Like, yeah, still go on the dates, still feel the things, but just spend a lot more time into your friends and your community and yourself. And truly what is in alignment will work for you. And being intentional and being direct about what you want will work. So, yeah, I am in love. And it's amazing. And it could end tomorrow. And I would be sad, for sure. Don't get me wrong. But my life would keep going, because so much of my life is filled in so many other ways. And my worth is not tied to whether someone wants to be with me romantically. And that makes me very happy. And that is what I'm most proud of. And we're both people who have deeply full lives and have chosen to add each other into our lives. And I think that is how it should be. So yeah, it's like something that is part of my life and that I'm happy about and that I'm going to keep private. But I just really wanted to bring that up because I feel like I've been seeing more and more different scenarios and situations, and I've been there. I get it. But you are never too much for somebody who is praying exactly for you, laying on the couch being like, damn, this is what I want. And your life is way more than your romantic relations. And stop settling and leave these situationships behind. And yes, having a boyfriend is embarrassing if your boyfriend is embarrassing. Not mine though. Not mine though. You better not be. Love you. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. So all that to say, tomorrow's gonna be an outside day, unexpected outside day. So gonna knock out this blog post, and I think I will be kind of I'll be a little caught up. Not really. Like, I'll be a lot more caught up than I was yesterday. So, that's a win. But, I'm gonna go check in on that export. I totally forgot about it. And upload that and work on this blog post. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hi. What a day today. I'm gonna try and keep this quick, but also I do have some thoughts I wanted to share. So today... started off, I slept in a little bit and then ate a quick breakfast and went to meet my old boss from my work study when I was in university. So we caught up in the neighborhood, and then straight from there I brought my camera with me because today was Eid, or I guess technically yesterday because it's 2 a.m. now, but it was Eid on Friday. And I wanted to photograph and document Harleming, start transitioning myself into photographing everyday life. And it was like I bought this used lens, like a 28mm, 35mm, because I love using it on my film camera, and I have a 24-70, which obviously includes 28 to 35mm. I forget which one it is. Either 28, 35. It's a prime lens, but it's just so bulky to carry around. And one of my biggest feedbacks I've consistently gotten over the years from mentors and photo editors is I don't get close enough. Like, it feels like an outsider looking in. So I want to get better, like, with this lens, because it'll challenge you to move and to, like, get there and talk to people and, like, be in the space and flex that muscle. Like, that's the biggest feedback that I've gotten that I need to work on. So I intentionally brought that to mess with and to force myself to, like, different lenses bring different things out of you. So yeah, and I almost psyched myself out of it. I was like, okay, I'll just go to 125th. So I was walking from Columbia and I went to 125th. I was like, I'm on the main hub. I'm just gonna walk down the street, see what happens. I almost turned around. I almost turned a corner and was like, I'm just gonna go home, actually. I have a lot of things that I need to do. Do I really need to be doing this, like, Newton next year? And I was like, no, girl, like, just, if anything, just walk up and down the street once. So I go, and I was like, okay, I was like nervous. And I'm an outgoing person. I'm extroverted. I did canvassing for Zoran on the streets, like passing out flyers. Like, I did the whole, like, did a gig where I was doing for a client, like, microphone, word on the street conference. Like, this doesn't scare me. But I was so nervous. So yeah, I met the first person I saw, like, dressed in traditional clothing. And I was like, hey, are you celebrating Ramadan or Eid? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I'm a documentary photographer documenting life in Harlem, and I'm going around today focusing on taking photos of people who are celebrating Eid. Would you like to get your photo taken? And I would email it to you. He was so excited. He was like, yeah. He gives me his phone. So I take photos on his phone first, and then I take photos on my camera. And that was just such a great interaction, and just kept going. Next was a woman, and then a teenage girl, and she was like, you need to go to 116th. That's where everybody is. So I turned around, went down 116th, started closer onto the east side, on 5th Ave, and then ran across a massive group of teens. And teenagers scare me. Teenagers, I will go across the street when I see a group of teenagers and high schoolers walking my way. They scare me. Teenagers, middle schoolers, like kids in New York scare me. Not because I think that they're scary, but teenagers scare me. All right, I have two teenage brothers. Those brothers scare me. Okay. So, but I was like, okay, just walk up to one group. just walk up to one girl. And it's like, and I have like, let's say I photographed about 20 people today. Maybe about like 6 were like, no thanks. And so even just like getting used to like the rejection of it all. But I was just like, well, with teens, it's gonna be, it can go either way. But they were like, yeah, let's do a big group photo. So we did a big group photo. So everyone in the vicinity is kind of seeing what's going on. And then I found a group of girls, and like we did photos, and then there was another set of girls. We did individual photos, and then I was like, oh, I gotta go because I had to make it back home for a grad shoot and grade call. So we did that for about an hour, just talking through different options and stuff, and then went straight downtown to lunch, and then edited the photos and emailed those all to everybody as promised, and then went straight to a friend's birthday in Brooklyn. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm getting a little tired of Brooklyn. And then made it home by 2. So it's been a long day. I have been basically out and about and like on the move since 10 a.m. So yeah, so it's been a little long, but very fulfilling day. I'm very proud of myself for challenging myself to go out, because I was like, I just need to break the seal, because I know I'm gonna psych myself out in another day. But because I was already outside to meet up with my old boss, like I already was there, so that was the biggest thing, is just getting out the door. And again, reminding me that I'm good at what I do, and like talking to people and like having conversations. And hey, the majority of the people I took photos of were teenagers. If I managed to have conversation with the teenagers and it was great, I can do anything, right? So I really enjoyed that. And something that I'm thinking about right now is, I was just like, wow, today was so great, but I just still need to get some type of structure. And something else I'm thinking about is I'm getting a lot of DMs and inquiries for project support, coffee chats, which I've kind of taught about this before, is like I want to limit those a little bit, or be a little strategic about those, because those take a lot of time and energy. But I also do want to continue to foster like relationships with people. So I think it's really important, because what helped me when I was younger or new to the photography was people willing to use their time to chat with me, right? So I want to continue to give that forward. So, but I do need to figure out like capacity. The next thing that I'm really thinking about right now is, as I'm putting myself more and more out there, with like showing up to events, especially Run Club, and like doing photos and gigs and things, I'm getting a lot of inquiries for personal photos, headshots, grad photos. Obviously grad season's coming up, so I've got this big group coming up, which I'm actually looking forward to working with, because that would just be great to kind of get back into the game of it all. I need to make sure, because that all takes a lot of time. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I not, because that's not what I want to be doing, but I also am cognizant that I need bills to pay. Or I need money to pay for bills and rent, right? And the work that I want to be doing isn't going to be paying for a while. So I do need to have these forms of side hustles. But they take time. Like the photos today, I mean, it took 2 hours of photographing, and it took 3 to 4 hours of editing. Yeah, maybe 3 hours of editing. So that was 5 hours in the day to this thing, right? And so like grad shoots, it's a big group of 7. That's gonna take me days. It's gonna take me about 3 or 4 hours to photograph, probably, depending on how everyone organizes their packages. And then it's going to take like days to edit. So that's the thing. It's like, it goes back to what I was saying a couple of videos ago about how, like, when I was doing shoveling, right, for 30 something hours, getting paid about $300, when I can do a gig that I usually often do with this one group, where I get paid $300 for 4 hours, you know? So it's like trying to, the shoveling I don't regret, because it was like helping the community and something I wanted to do, right? And like, it was a great experience. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like, yes, I can do a side hustle. Like, I can do a study, or I can do a quick thing and make something quick, right? But with photography, the editing is also time you need to factor in, and that oftentimes takes time. So even a quick thing, like I did a 30-minute shoot the other day. It took me 3 hours of editing. Because I had to pull things into Photoshop, and like there's tape all over this one sign, primary sign, so I had to clean it in every single photo, so that took time. So yes, it was a quick shoot, but the editing time, right? So I'm saying all this to say, like, if I'm going to be doing more headshots and stuff like this, like, it's going to take time in the editing process. And that is time that I don't know if I want to be spending. Like, yes, I need the bills, the money to pay for the bills, but I don't know if it correlates to how much I charge and how much time it takes, which leads to two obvious solutions. Maybe some other ones that I'm not thinking about. The first one, charge higher prices, which I think I need to do. So there's two groups that I've already told them the pricing, and I kind of kept them the same from a couple years ago, 4 years ago from undergrad. I definitely need to put those up because my whole thing is like I want to be affordable, right? But given the scenarios that I'm in, I need to up it because I don't want to be doing it. So if I'm going to do it, I want my time to be paid for out, like, well, right? So right now, for example, it's $200 for 1 hour for a solo person. Upping that to $400. And maybe you just get a little more photos in the package. That way it's like, yeah, I may have less people, which is great because I want to have less inquiries come in. But when they do come in, it's worth it because I'm paying and accounting for the time it takes to edit as well. So things like that. And then the second solution, and yeah, I think that would help with demand, to lower demand by limiting supply, if that's the correct usage or thinking through that. The second option is to just limit how many slots I do each month. So I'm only going to do this month, or I'm only going to do headshots once a month, or like at this one event every 2 months or something. So if you want it, then you want it. Then I'm not doing one-offs because I don't have lighting and stuff, yada, yada, yada. So things like that, I'm just trying to figure out what makes sense. So it may have to be a case of, I think I'm going to start with just charging more and just seeing. Or if I'm charging more and I'm still getting a lot of inquiries, then maybe we're going to have to limit and do capacity. So I think that's what I'm going to do now that I'm thinking through it all out loud. So yeah, just thinking through all about stuff because it takes time. And, you know, I don't know if I want to be sitting in front of my laptop editing that category of photos that I have nothing against. It's just, I did something drastic, which is quit my job to do what I want to do, which is documentary photography, photojournalistic work, right? I don't want to get swayed into other things that will deter significant time from me sticking to that primary goal that I want to put significant effort in before I drop it if it doesn't work. And this easily can turn into a scenario where all of a sudden my days are filled with coffee chats and calls and headshots and portrait shoots and branding corporate things, right? It's something that I want to always keep doing because it teaches you things, it hones your skills, you meet people, you never know who will connect you to what. And because that's like money coming in. But again, it's just trying to find like that harmony. So that's the current dilemma that I think is going to be the biggest question and thing that I try and figure out in Q2, because it wasn't an issue in Q1 because I wasn't taking photos. But yeah, so that's the biggest thing on my mind right now. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And yeah, the rest of this weekend. And pretty much basically have like a week and a half left of the month, so really diving into the goals. I think I'm just gonna it is gonna be a busy week next week. I think I'm gonna lock myself away for a bit and disappear. Which anytime I'm feeling this like, I need to disappear. I got a disappearing trip planned, so I'm gonna be going home soon, so I'll be able to go away. And that would be good. I think it's gonna be really good to just not be available. And once, like I said yesterday, a couple nights ago, once it hits summer, like, I really, really want to have a routine hammered down and, like, concrete ways that I'm approaching things before summertime, because summertime is a distraction. It's the best time to be in New York City, but boy, oh boy, is it gonna be busy. So, like, I really, really, really want to have things settled by then. And by then, it's going to be halfway into the year anyway, so that should be what's happening. So, it's absurd to me that it's only been 3 months of this year. I feel like I've lived so many lives and experienced so many waves of things. And I really appreciate that I'm documenting the nuances of all of that in this, because I was writing my blog post. I even wrote in that, I was like, I can sit here in hindsight and type up these pretty lines and words and do recap videos or whatever, right? And it's almost like sanitizes, because memory, that's just how memory works. Like, you kind of forget things and you remember highlights of stuff, and like things get sanitized and the nuances and the complexities and the lack of clarity is forgotten about. So I really appreciate that I have this daily feature to look back on and really see, like, what I'm thinking and figuring out. And, at the end of the year, I can be like, wow, yeah, I did these things, but, like, these videos prove that it's all so messy. It's so messy, and I love it. I love it. Sometimes I want to crash out, but I love it. And I'm very, very happy with how everything's been so far. So it's probably now 3 a.m. for all I know, but I'm gonna head to bed. I also think it's so interesting that these are getting longer and longer. I think that's going to be a continuing theme as time goes by, is that things will get longer and longer because things will get more nuanced. As more time passes, when things get clearer, simultaneously it'll get more nuanced, and I think that is a good thing. I don't want more time to pass and I get more like, yes, and I know how to do this and this. Like, I always want to be questioning things and trying to figure something out. I always want to be confused and challenged and like, what? Because that's growth and that's change and it's all good. So yeah, maybe each episode is gonna turn, the last one that I published it yesterday, it was an hour and some change. That was the longest episode 11. So we'll see. I'm interested. I'm intrigued to see how this continues to form. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting too to do like a Q1 each every 3 months, kind of like figure out how to, like a trailer. I don't know. So many thoughts, so many ideas. It was great seeing some friends at the birthday today, who all of us are freelance, and figuring shit out. So it's really nice. I feel like I've been detached from community. But I think large part of that is because it's been winter. So, like, people just kind of retreat and travel and go away and, do their thing. So I think I'll feel a little more connected in March. Or, not March, in the rest of this year. But I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I feel like I've been so locked in on myself. I don't, in the journey of it all, I don't want to leave behind friends and lose relationships. So I need to be better about that, but I'm giving myself grace as well. And I know people in my life who know what I'm up to are giving me grace too. And they're like, yeah, we haven't heard from her. Just based on how we talk about other friends too. We're like, yeah, I haven't heard from this person. We're like, yeah, they're probably just doing their thing. Just check up on them, see if they're okay. And then, we'll see each other when we see each other. And I appreciate that that's the function of a lot of my friendships in my life. But I do miss just kikiing. So that will all come, but I'm gonna head to bed and I will check in tomorrow. Hey, you may have noticed, wow, words. You may have noticed that I've been wearing the same shirt. Maybe you haven't noticed. With that, I say mind your own business. So guys, it's my pajamas. My comfort top at the moment. I like get obsessed with a certain top for a period of time. So this is the one that currently is the obsession. So I realized as I was like doing the cover photos, each pro, I was like, I feel like they all look the same, and it's because I'm always in the blue. Anyway, today, I think I've become more succinct with these. Today was great. Slept in. I'm getting so tired of going to Brooklyn. I was in Brooklyn again. So I slept in a little bit, not really, like slept in being like 10. And went to the photo workshop with Patience. That was so great, so fun. It was really cool to just have someone be so vulnerable and open about their workflow process with studio photography. And I find that studio photographers tend to be more gatekeepy because theoretically there's more things that could be replicated to match somebody's style because it's the most controlled setting that you could have versus like it's hard to replicate something in the real world that's non-artificial lighting or studio specifically. But Patience was so open and great, and it turns out we'd met a couple years ago at a photo walk, my first photo walk here in New York. I totally forgot. I was wondering how we followed each other, and I was like, how is this awesome person, why are they following me? She was like, yeah, girl, we already met. I was like, oh my gosh, turns out she was in Harlem. So that was great. To find someone super creative in Harlem. I know that they exist, they're here. It's just hard to find people in Harlem. Mainly because I feel like everyone's going to Brooklyn. And okay, everyone being obviously like close. I only know a handful of people and most of them happen to be in Brooklyn. So I can't be like everyone. But yeah, it was great. And then a friend called me up unexpectedly and just hung out with him for a couple hours and then made my way home. So I didn't get home till like 7. And I just finished a book. I started a book. I've been getting, because of these long train rides to Brooklyn, I think I'm in Brooklyn 3 days back to back, and I'm going again 2 more. And then like almost every day next week. But because it's an hour going and it's an hour coming back, I've been getting a lot of reading done. At least on my phone and with physical books. I haven't been able to dedicate much time recently to the curriculum books because those are bigger books and those are books I want to take notes on. So yeah, I've been getting through a lot of books, and I started a book this morning and I finished it today. And it was a Kennedy Ryan book. I didn't want to reveal the author. I liked her other series that I read, the Skyland series. I really liked it. This one, I didn't like this book because it's promoting infidelity as a clear plot point that the audience is meant to root for. Scandal, I'm looking at you. And when I watched Scandal, I was an impressionable college woman who loved the romance of it and was willing to look past the infidelity of it all, right? Was rooting for them heavy. It wasn't until I matured that I was like, Fitz is actually terrible. And Melly was done wrong. But why was I watching this thinking that Melly was the villain? And I think as you get older, you're like, ma. So it just kind of sucks that like when you're younger and you're obviously impressionable, there are certain plot points that you read as like, this is so cool. And then you get older, it's like, that's weird, right? It's like the age gap things, like some of the stuff. Even like, I really like Cassandra Clare's universe, but her first few books were weird. They were weird. Why were we spending a book in incest? Even though it ends up being fake, but like, why were we as a reader still meant to think that that was okay when we were all believing that it was incest? You know, like, things that you're just like, is this necessary? The Outlander scene when Jamie gets by the soldier. That was a hard episode to watch. It's like, was that whole hour of that happening necessary? I don't know. I like, it's just interesting to me. Like, is it necessary to be having, like, obviously infidelity happens. I'm not saying we can't be writing about things or reading about things or making art about things. But to me, it's the romanticization about it or the, like, clear push for this being right. Because as you're reading this book, all I'm thinking is, Like, you can clearly see it's meant to be like, but they're meant to be, but they're like, yes, it's forbidden, but they're clearly soulmates, so like, it's okay. You know? Why? And things are complicated like that sometimes. That's the reality. Like, it could very well be that there is someone who's in love with their best friend's girl or partner, and it was just like miscommunication and mischances. I know stories like that in real life. So, like, I get it. I do. I'm not saying that because I just can't sit behind certain ways of things that are writing, especially if it's not done with a certain level of like, you know? Or it's like, okay, but like, why are we placing them as like the heroines and the heroes and all of this, the people to be? But maybe I'm just not. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about right now. That's what's top of mind. I already gave my boyfriend the whole rant about it. He was just laying there like, okay. I just feel strongly about things sometimes. Am I gonna read the second book? Yeah. It left off at a weird spot. I was like, this book must have been before you wrote Skyland. Because Skyland was much better. That whole series was really well done. This was not. Am I gonna read the second? Yeah, sometimes you have to keep reading a train wreck. Not saying that was a train wreck. But like, there was one series that I once read. Terrible writing. Terrible plots. It was just so bad that I had to keep reading, and then not just keep reading that first book, but read the other 2 books in the trilogy, because I was like, I just objectively am so curious as to how you're going to make this work, because none of this shit makes any sense. And usually in my experience, it only gets worse. Like, usually in series that are more than 3 books, like the 3rd or 4th book is when things fall down, even when it's a really well done series, tanks. So far, I have not experienced that with Brandon Sanderson, which is very impressive. So yeah, here's 7 minutes of me talking about that. That's what I did today. It's 10. I was kind of working on my blog post on the train, but I was like, I'm not want to do this on the train. So I'm going to, I should probably go to bed. I haven't eaten. So I think I'm gonna type a little bit, but also I just don't want to be on the screen right before I'm trying to go to bed. So I think I'm going to read just a physical book. One of the many physical library books I have. I'm probably not going to. I'm going to read that, but I've read so freaking much. And I like reading a little like mindless romance book to cleanse my palate. Every now and then I get cravings. So I think I'm going to pivot to fantasy. I was in the real world romance. I'm like, man, I didn't like that one. So I'm gonna pivot into a fantasy book. At this point, I just read to feel something, like the fantasy and the romance, just to feel a little bit of something and to see ways in which authors, like every now and then you come across a book or an author that does something different. And as somebody who's read a lot of books in life, according to my account, my Storygraph, I've had 961 books logged that I've read in my lifetime. Probably is actually at 1,000 because there are books that I didn't remember and I didn't start tracking until I was in like high school. But I've read a lot, right? So at this point, the books that stick out to me are the ones that are so different and that really like sit with you and that are different in plots. And so I just read for the joy moment of it, but like I won't remember a lot of the plots of things unless it really was like, whoa, that was cool. So I just read to see what's out there, to see like different ways of telling a story, to see like how different cool ways that things are framed. I think that's just a fun thing. So, 'cause sometimes people are like, but you rarely remember the books. I'm like, yeah, I can just read things for enjoyment. The way that we just scroll to get a rush, you know? So, I'm just gonna read the next one. I'm not even trying to like, I'm already way ahead of my goal, like progress. It's never, I just set a goal each year just to make sure that I'm still reading frequently, but it doesn't, and I don't read to hit a count. I just really enjoy the comfort of words and reading. So I've just been whenever I get the urge, just been going through them. So yeah, that's it. It's really nothing creative actually talked about. Oh, this is all something to learn about and think about. But the larger question of what needs to be shown and what can we trust the audience to understand the significance of? What are times in which something terrible or gruesome or ghastly need to be shown? Those are all questions to think about that are applicable to any art medium and storytelling medium, right? So it's something for me to dwell on for a little bit, but that is all I'm thinking about today. And we'll see how tomorrow goes. We're about to get ready for bed, clocking and checking in real quick. Today was great. It was a Takes a Village, so for people who don't know what that is, it started last year where I would host a monthly town square event in my space meant to exchange resources and build community. And it went well last year, but then less and less people started showing up just because I live in Harlem and a lot of my friends live in Brooklyn, so a lot of people were anti coming up that frequently. So dropped it down to quarterly every 3 months. So this year was the first one in March, and only 3 people showed up. Granted, I didn't send like the invite till like last week. I sent the date a month ago, but in New York, if people don't have the invite, they don't put it on their calendar. Anyway, it was great. It was in Brooklyn, so I think I've now hit 3 or 4 days back to back in Brooklyn, and I am tired of going to Brooklyn. And I came back and I was just super tired, and I just like couldn't have the energy to do anything. I did drop off some film, my Mexico City film finally, and I just like been really frustrated recently, and I feel like I have nothing to give in my cup anymore, and it hasn't been refilled in a long time. And really, truly what it is, I just realized that I haven't been taking care of myself. Yesterday night, I was on TikTok for a couple hours, and I was on like makeup and skincare talk, and like just realized that like I haven't been taking care of my skin. I have not been taking care of my hair. I'm barely eating 3 meals a day. If I do, it's waffles or toast with butter and jam. I don't run anymore. I don't do my morning routine much, so I'm not stretching daily anymore. I was like, no wonder you're so tired and have no energy and like frustrated all the time, because I'm putting so much effort into like the work of all the things that the number one thing that I wanted to make sure I had in my life more often after quitting a job was taking care of myself. So it's a little frustrating to be like seeing the ways that like this capitalistic mindset that's ingrained in us was pushed into me and what I've been doing the past few months, even though I was trying to not do that. And I just totally disregarded the most obvious thing, which is taking care of yourself. So I really, really do think that getting back to running will solve so much for me. Like, really, truly. Like, that is why I did the 50 marathons out of 50 states goal. That's why I have that for myself. Because I knew through my experience of 5 training cycles that, like, it keeps you consistent in your life. It's holistic because you have to sleep well, you have to eat well, you have to rest well, stretch well. Like, it's a whole full body and mental and emotional everything. So doing it kept me well in all those spaces in life. And I haven't done it. And I think that's the significant correlation of just like not taking care of myself anymore. So I've decided tomorrow I'm going to go on a run. I was waiting for this high impact bra that I got because my chest was like, my boob was just not doing well. And my friend who's a trainer was like, you probably also just need to be working out chest and strengthening that area as well. So I was going to wait for that bra, but I'm just training for a half now. So the runs are pretty light anyway. So I'm just going to do like a small run. I also think that, at least right now, in the lack of discipline state that I am, I want to find another way to think of that because that just comes from a place of lack. But I'm just not doing well. I did well, like last week I was when I was talking, or 2 weeks ago, with the whole micromanaging of the day, like having everything scheduled and what time frames I work on it. That went really well the first week. It's gone downhill since. And I barely look at it now. I also just think the past few days were just so disjointed and not planned, like that I think that also threw me off. But I've missed deadlines for some stuff already. That hasn't happened at all this year. So clearly, like, the micromanaging is not working on a long-term sustainable basis, because what happens is, like, maybe a day I don't get to something or something pops up, so then I scooch over 2 more things to the next day, and then it's crowded and packed and it's not realistic, and editing maybe takes more 4 hours instead of 1 hour or 2 hours, and so everything keeps getting pushed, and now everything is just pushed everywhere, and it's just not working. And I think just going back to being very, very intentional on the tasks that I select to work on each day and being mindful is more of the way to go. So we're going to drop that. I'm going to, again, tomorrow, I think I'm going to erase all of those from my calendars and just reframe it back to what I was doing before until I find another way of approaching it. Honestly, that way wasn't bad. Just like putting down at the end of each day what I need to get done tomorrow and keeping it to 4 to 5 things max. Yeah. Just like very, I don't know. I'm just feeling frustrated and like I'm neglecting myself, and I'm tired, and I really realized that I don't have much to give because I'm just getting so many DMs for requests to talk and chat and hang out with people I've mainly a lot of people I just don't know. And how I know that my cup is not full right now is because I have nothing to give and I'm getting frustrated at the DMs for no reason. Well, the reason being that's how because I love to help, I love to give, I love to chat, I love to yap, obviously. So I rarely feel like frustrated or annoyed when people reach out, and that's how I know that I have nothing to give right now. Because when my cup is full, I rarely will be like frustrated about anything, being like, oh my god, yeah, let's talk, let's chat, let's make it work. Because I have nothing to give right now, because my cup isn't full, it's overwhelming and frustrating. So that's another sign of like, okay, we need to take a pause. So I don't know if it's I need to just give myself the second half of next week off, or I mean, I can't really, because I really want to finish everything that I had planned to get done in March, at least as close as I can get. And I imagine the first week of April I'll still be kind of working on some stuff. I just really want it. I don't want to keep carrying stuff over. And just for the sake of like keeping myself accountable for sticking to my quarterly goals, like I really need to do that. So I do know that I have time away scheduled, so maybe it's just going to be just make it to that and like reset and everything in general then. But we do need to get back to the discipline and taking care of myself, because discipline is a form of self-love. It really is. Having experienced highly disciplined moments of my life, yeah, I was at my best in so many ways when I was waking up at 5 and like doing my runs and my trainings, and was able to give from a much better place and have energy and have a full cup. So that's where I'm at right now, but we'll see how things all go. And I think it's good to be like recognizing. I'm proud of myself for being able to recognize what it is and what's going on and pinpoint it. So now we just got to work on it and move around and adjust, and that's all you can do. But I'm gonna read a little bit, finish up this book that I'm reading, and then I'm going to go to bed and attempt to wake up. So we'll find out if I actually wake up tomorrow on time.